It was definitely a big change. After a while, you learn to appreciate everything you have, and it's definitely it's worth it. I love it. I love it so far.
So we're Happy Fields Farm. I'm Ryan, and this is Val. We've been doing the farm for about 3 years, really focusing on all the regenerative agriculture practices. So, doing pastured poultry and pastured eggs, a lot of planting native species, and doing some forestry management. We've got about 4 acres of forest area, so really focusing on native species and planting beneficial plants for the wildlife and trying to build our little homestead. So it's been fun. We're in the middle of spring season, so things are busy, but everything's going well.
He was living in in the town, in the middle of the town, and I was living in the city back in Spain. So we decided that it would be a really good opportunity for us to create something beautiful, nature related. Possibly in the future, create a farm daycare. So it's kind of our plans.
Yeah.
But for now, we're just want to start the farm with animals and fruit trees, planting flowers.
So Val was living in Spain. She actually was here kind of on a diplomat visa, and we met in Maryland a few years ago and ended up doing long distance for a while, and then we ended up getting married. So when she moved to the United States full time, I actually was in the process of buying this vacant land. So we got about 6 acres out here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, and ended up building a house and putting in some fencing infrastructure and getting some animals going. So it's been a process. It was all kind of during the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was crazy times to be doing all that, but everything's worked out, and I'm feeling pretty grateful for our little farm here. It was well worth it. I think we got lucky with this property, and at the time no one wanted it. It was kind of an overgrown patch of land that used to be part of a winery that was here a while back. Kind of got a steal on the land and ended up taking out a bunch of these invasive trees. A lot of, I don't know if you're familiar with the spotted lanternflies, but they have all these host trees, the tree of heaven. So we had a bunch of those, some also overgrown with autumn olive, and I don't know if you know about those, but those can be pretty invasive and overgrow the area. So it was almost a year of just land management, kind of clearing out some things and planting native wildlife and trees and shrubs and stuff, like spice bushes and walnut trees. But so it was definitely a process with the land, but it kind of all worked out, and crazy time, but yeah. So our area was kind of where they stored all the barrels and wine bottles. So cleaning up some of the leftover materials and building materials that they left on the property for years. At first, like I said, it was a lot of hands-on manual labor. And then we ended up getting a utility tractor from Kubota, and they've been great. And that piece of machinery has just been amazing for us. So we, used our utility tractor, L3301, and that really stepped up our game as far as being able to, manage the land and be able to kind of take bigger steps to do what we want to do with the property. And then also, obviously, the machinery we got from Woodland Mills, the wood chipper has been a game changer as far as being able to take all those materials like trimmed limbs and fallen trees and things like that, and actually put it back into the land in that regenerative way. So kind of using the wood chips to cover our areas with the chickens and fill in some low spots on the property, and that's really been helpful as far as like building soil. So we can really see it. It's kind of crazy over the past few years, the areas where we've chipped things and cleaned up the areas, it's really come back vigorously with like lush green grass and good native species, and kind of digging up that seed bank and getting those native seeds in. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been cool, but
Yeah.
that's kind of how it started. It started by
Yeah.
hand, and then and now we're
Yeah.
now we're a little more evolved and have some machinery and things like that.
It was definitely a big change. As for me getting used to the wildlife, the bugs sometimes. But after a while, you learn to appreciate everything you have. The quiet, you appreciate everything is more private, and it's definitely it's worth it. I love it. I love it so far. Being able to let our dogs out, walk around the woods, hear nature, hear the birds, the trees, the wind. That's something that you cannot do that in the city.